BBC News with Sue Montgomery. Devastating wildfires in the U.S. state of Hawaii have killed at least 6 people. Large parts of the tourist town of Lahaina and the island of Maui have been burned to the ground. The flames spread rapidly, forcing some people to jump into the sea to escape. The fires have been driven by high winds from a hurricane far to the south of Hawaii. The mayor of Maui County, Richard Bisson, described the situation on the island.
We've had 6 fatalities that we were able to confirm, and we are still in a search and rescue mode. We've had many dwellings, businesses, structures that have been burned to the ground. We have had 13 evacuations from different neighborhoods and towns.
A 2-day summit on protecting the Amazon has ended, with an appeal for wealthy countries to keep their promises to fund the battle against global warming. The Brazilian president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, told the gathering that rich governments must pay not only to protect the forest, but also to improve living conditions for the local population. He praised the achievements of the summit of 8 South American countries. The Biden administration has announced new restrictions on U.S. investment in China's technology sector. The move bans private equity and venture capital firms from funding Chinese companies that are developing semiconductors, quantum computing and artificial technology. Washington hopes to stop U.S. capital from boosting industries that could enhance China's military capabilities. Republican Congressman Darren Hood sits on the U.S. House of Representatives Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party.
China continues to abide by a different set of rules and standards that every other industrialized country in the world does. In many ways, they can't be trusted by their actions that they have taken, whether it's in AI, whether it's in facial recognition. So those things have caused us to look at how do we change the narrative here. And I think the direction the Biden administration is taking is a step forward. We got to continue to put the pressure on them.
Pakistan's president has dissolved the lower house of parliament, setting the stage for a general election amid a political and economic crisis. Here's Anbarasana Tirajan.
A caretaker administration is expected to take over until the polls are held in Pakistan. They are supposed to take place within 90 days, but it's thought they could be delayed. The last election in 2018 was won by the party led by Imran Khan. He was ousted from power April last year after losing a confidence vote and is currently in jail, having been convicted of corruption charges. The Election Commission of Pakistan has barred Mr. Khan from holding any public office for 5 years.
BBC News. The FBI has shot dead a man accused of making violent threats against President Biden. Federal agents turned up at Craig Robertson's house in Utah to serve arrest and search warrants. The exact events leading up to the killing are unclear. The authorities said they wanted to talk to Mr. Robertson about social media posts he'd written. More from Nomia Iqbal in Washington.
Just in terms of the social media post, just reading the criminal complaint here, it's full of really dark messages, his social media, violence towards President Biden and other notable Democrats, also glorifying guns. Just to read you one thing that appeared in the criminal complaint, that a message that FBI agents obviously took very seriously. He put, "I hear Biden is coming to Utah, so clean the dust of the M24 sniper rifle."
Belarusians across Europe have marked the 3rd anniversary of the start of mass protests against the disputed election that kept Alexander Lukashenko in power. Many demonstrators in the Polish capital Warsaw wore masks for fear of being identified. They were worried that police in Belarus might arrest their relatives. A Russian missile strike on the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia has killed 2 people. President Zelensky posted a video showing a partially damaged church with smoke rising from a fire nearby. He described the attack as a war crime. In his nightly video address, Mr. Zelensky said the whole of Ukraine needed more air defence systems. Robbie Robertson, the lead guitarist for the rock group The Band, has died. He was 80. As the band's main songwriter, Robertson was behind hits such as The Weight and The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. The Canadian-American group spent years as backing musicians for Bob Dylan in the 1960s, helping influence his transition from folk artist to rock star. BBC News.